We are live at the 52nd Annual CMA Awards in Nashville on New Country 97.1 Hank FM. Brantley Gilbert, BG.
What's
going
on, brother?
How you been?
Oh, wonderful.
We just talked to you fairly recently when your good buddy Scott Borchetta was hanging out with us, co-hosting the show, and called in, and we talked about a little bit of new music and some other things that you got going on in your world.
Yeah, man, we've been grinding. We've got actually the newest bit of news, man, late-breaking news is we've got a duet coming out. I've never done a duet before, and I've got a duet coming out. That's our next single with Miss Lindsay Ell.
Wow. Now, how did that come about?
Man, I'm honestly, when I wrote the song with Rhett Akins and Brock Berryhill and Cole Taylor, and the whole, it just sounded like a duet the entire time we were writing it. We got a verse chorus, and it was like, man, it sounds like a duet. And it was something I'd never done. And, you know, there's so many talented women in this genre. You know, but everybody's teamed up, and a lot of folks had already done their thing. And you know, I've always been a fan of Lindsay's. When my wife and I got back together, her mom had always wanted to go to the Grand Ole Opry. And I was trying to get in good, you know what I mean? So I took him to the Grand Ole Opry, and Lindsay was playing that night.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I've always been a fan since then, because not only can she sing and can she write, but she can slay. On guitar. It's ridiculous.
Now, if you ever see Brantley live, I mean, you guys bring that edge to your performance that Lindsay does as well. Does she play guitar on the duet?
She does.
Yeah.
She does. And cut it with Dan Huff, and he was impressed. And it's hard to impress Dan Huff.
As a major guitarist himself. I mean, I don't think people understand. They hear that name a lot. He's a big producer here in Nashville, but he is also an amazing, amazing guitarist.
He's a monster. And chances are, well, chances aside, you have heard something he's played on. No matter who you are or what genre you listen to, you've heard Dan Huff. And man, I tell you what's even better to me is the person he is. He's just as good inside as he is at guitar, and that's awesome.
Now, when Scott was visiting us in the studio, he told me something off the air that we never really talked about before. But he said that you were working with Speedcore on a truck that I see you just recently got delivered. An F-150 customized.
Ridiculously fast.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Dude, it's over 850 horsepower.
What?
It's Speedcore built it. These are just people that make awesome vehicles. They look awesome, but they're stupid fast. I mean, this thing's got a Roush motor in it, a supercharger that barely fits under the hood. And, I mean, you can't get a quarter of the way in the throttle without it kicking sideways. It's too fun to drive.
Now, you're a dad. You're supposed to be driving the minivan around now, doesn't
it?
Yeah?
Right.
You got to be responsible.
Hey, if a minivan's got 850 horsepower, I'll give it a shot.
Actually, speaking of vehicles, you showed me around when you were designing the tour bus to fit the family on the road and stuff, and then you had a little bit of a fire break out on that. What's the status of the bus?
It was a big bit of a fire.
Yeah.
It burned all the way to the ground, and I lost everything that I had in there, which was actually a lot. And one of my buddies from home gave me a hard time about it. He was like, well, dude, you need to borrow some, because I was complaining about it, and he was like, well, do you need to borrow some money? But, you know, it was like, that was like my house burning down, you know? But we've got another one that's supposed to be done by the end of the month, finally.
All right. Yeah, I felt really bad for you, and I know you're always giving back to veterans and firefighters as well. So,
for sure.
To see you, it's kind of ironic to see you go through that yourself as somebody who's always supported their causes.
Yeah. We put them to work at night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
In the middle of Montana in the snow.
Well, everybody got out okay, which is good.
They sure did.
Yeah. We just had Veterans Day here just very recently, and as I mentioned, you're always doing things to support the veterans. What kinds of activities have you been doing recently?
Well, you know, my Veterans Days have kind of become complicated because that's my son's birthday. He was born on Veterans Day. He just turned 1 Sunday. So, you know, we had a big birthday party for him and all that. But we made sure to take time and say some prayers and just be quiet for a minute and just in honor of all our veterans and just to show appreciation for them.
Now, I'm sure the family came over for the birthday party. Have you had to go to some other kid's birthday party yet?
I've had to go to, well, kind of, like a couple. I don't do well at those. I like standing outside to smoke. I'm that guy.
I imagine, but once you have a kid, you start going to these birthday parties for kids you don't even know.
Yeah.
You're like, what am I doing here?
Dude, I tell you what's freaky is he turned 1, and I was telling my wife last night, I was like, it's already sad. Like, I'm not a crier at all. My whole life I've never been a crier, but with him it's just different. But I just got to thinking, I was like, man, that year went by so fast, and we only get like 12 or 13 of those before they're wanting to go stay somewhere else and or think they know more than we do. And from what I've heard, from what everybody tells me, that's hard to imagine.
Well, I don't want to bum you out, but my one and only is in her first year of college right now, and every now and then I walk by the empty bedroom and I think, I remember her bringing her home from the hospital. Where did that time go?
Dude.
So enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can. He's going to cry. Yeah. Brantley Gilbert hanging out with us. New music coming out soon, too. You've been working on a new album. Looking forward to hearing that.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you. All the best to the family. And have fun
Appreciate
and early Merry Christmas here from the 52nd Annual CMA Awards in Nashville on New Country 97.1 Hank FM.